want to put the computer right here on the firewall here, but you can see I've got the heater core box sticks out there, and you can see you know, it really wouldn't sit that well in there with all the connections coming out the bottom. So what I did was I made a bracket. This is it here. Already made it and painted it, and I'm going to screw this right to the top of the heater core and then mount the computer to that. Start dry fitting the wiring harnesses and stuff, and kind of see how exactly I'm going. This is the handheld programming unit here. It plugs in right here, computer, and the idea is that you just plug it in and program everything, and then you unplug it, and you don't have to worry about it. But it has a dashboard function on it, so I can see RPM and temperature and a lot of this, all the statistics from the computer. So I want this inside. So what I'm going to do is I have this grommet here where some wires are running out. I'm going to pull this grommet out and then feed this wire through from the inside, and then have this unit inside, and then I'll put it in the glove box or something like that. I'm not quite sure where I'm going to put it when it's in there, but I want it inside so as I'm driving I can get real data. So here it is from the outside. This is the wire for the programming unit. It goes right through that grommet. And then inside, that's it right here in the glove box. I can pull it out and do what I need to do, and then the back in the glove box if I don't want it, and close the door. So this is the wire that goes to the programming unit that I put inside. This is one of the wires that goes from the fuel rails, so it's going to clip in here. So this is, I'm not quite sure yet what I'm going to do with all this wire, because it's you can't cut it, so I'm going to have to tie this back, loop it somehow so it's not a mess. There's two more cables that go on here, that go into here. This is one of them, and this basically has the goes to the O2 sensor. It has a whole series of different wires here, and this will run and trigger the fan, and then this is for two-step nitrous and a whole lot of other things that I'm not going to use. It's a lot of wires. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with this totally, but then the other one is this one here, and this basically powers the unit and runs the fuel pump. I don't have to run a solenoid for the fuel pump. This will actually turn the fuel pump on and off at the high amperage. The orange wire is for the fuel pump, and the other ones basically go to the batteries. So it's to power the fuel pump. So pretty simple. The fan, I do have to run a solenoid or not a solenoid, relay. These are the two wires that come from the rails, the computer part on the fuel rails. This one and this one, that powers those up. I've routed those up against the firewall, just wire tied them back. It looks pretty neat. Now I'll work on those other massive ones. So looking at the pin charts from the directions, I found out from the connector that this is the group of wires. This is the group of wires here that I don't need. And that's, let's see, that includes a launch control, auxiliary timing, speed reference signal, and a second fan. So that's all these. These are the ones I do need, which would include one fan, switch power, tachometer, and then a indicator light for ground, and then this whole mess goes to the O2 sensor. So I'm going to experiment with how now I got these tied back, I know I don't need these, how I'm going to run these. Oh, the other wire, this attaches to the, this one attaches to the fuel rails to power those. So for this connector, I figured out everything that I didn't need, and I rolled it up and bundled it all up together. And this here is for the O2 sensor. I'm going to do the same thing, kind of roll this up and bundle this up. And then what I'm going to do with these two, I'm going to tuck them just back in under the fender here and tie them back. All the other wires that are here are ones that I need. So I need to start routing those. Some of them need to go up to the front here by the battery to go by the fan. Some of them need to stay back here, and I'll start routing those. So here the wiring is 95% done. What's not left done yet is these three wires here. The green is for a ground fault indicator light. The gray is for the tach, so I got to install the tach adapter, and then this red wire is supposed to be for the switch 12 volts. And this group of wires goes this way, so I'm going to leave these for right now until I double check on this red wire here. The rest of the wires, tied everything back about as neat as I feel I can get it, and then what's going to run up to the battery is this one here, and it runs back into the fender and goes over the fender well. So here's that group of wires that came from the other side of the fender well. Just tucked it up in underneath, came out here. There's 4 wires going through here. These two will go to the positive of the battery. This one goes to the negative, and then this is the one for running the fan. So that'll end up getting an extension and coming down through by the radiator. MSD recommends that you put in a male function lamp for the computer and just put a light on your dash. I made this bracket here, and the big hole will hold this amber light here, LED light, and then the small hole will hold this small little light. This is my light for the line lock. It sits on this bracket here. What I'm going to do is take this off, make another bracket that'll hold both a light for the malfunction light and for the line lock. I made this bracket here, and the big hole will hold this amber light here, LED light, and then the small hole will hold this small little light for the malfunction light for the computer. Again, to kind of clean things up, I never really liked that big red bulby light there anyways. There's the finished indicator light. The big one in the middle is for the line lock, and that little one to the upper left, malfunction light for the computer.